well, when I hear the song, how do I react to it? How does it make me feel? How do the lyrics make me feel? And how does that make me want to play? Am I a guy keeping a beat so that other people can play? Or am I a guy playing with my heart and with my feelings, you know?
Why did it take so long to get another episode of North out there? I do not know, but I'm happy to say that I am back. And this was actually recorded in 2006. So I had actually just moved out to Colorado and had the chance to meet and interview music producer and drummer Bill Stevenson. He has a studio here in Colorado, and he has actually been in a number of pretty influential and legendary bands, including Descendents, Black Flag, All, Only Crime, and some others as well. I really enjoyed talking with Bill when I did this. I got to hear about his creative approach and some of the tools he's using, where he's getting his inspiration from. And so even if you're not super into music or you're not a drum geek like I am, I think you're still going to come away with some pretty helpful information here. I thought it was pretty admirable to hear how much he really puts himself into his music and is really thoughtful about his approach on anything that he's working on. I think that's really important in the creative field. And I also thought it was pretty cool to hear where he's getting his inspiration. It's not necessarily just within the confines of the musical style that he's typically playing, but he's pulling from all different areas and sort of putting those into what he does. So again, I think you're going to really enjoy this. Even if you're not super into drums or music, I think it still really applies across a pretty broad spectrum of creative pursuits. So hope you enjoy this as much as I did. And without further ado, Mr. Bill Stevenson. All right. Well, the first question I have for you is, how long have you been producing music in Colorado?
We built the studio in '94. And at that time, the original idea was just a studio for All and Descendants, you know, to use. But it sort of very quickly became its own kind of thing, own business. Bands found out that we had a studio and that we were, you know, able to do records, and they just started coming, and they've been coming ever since. So we just done. So as far as in Colorado, that would be about 12 years now. Okay. And I guess before that we did stuff elsewhere, you know.
Is that why you moved out here, just to open the studio, kind of?
We moved out here. It's kind of like what is it? Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Like LA was too big, and then we ended up in Missouri for a while, and then that was just too small. So this was kind of good, like medium-sized place to hang out. Yeah. It was pretty arbitrary, to be really honest. I mean, we thought about like here, we thought about Austin, Texas, or I don't know, Salt Lake or Santa Fe, like different kind of small cities, big towns, but we always had a good time when we would come through here on tour. So it kind of worked out, you know? Yeah.
How come Fort Collins and not Denver or Boulder?
Yeah. Like I said, it's pretty random. We used to do an awful lot of touring, and we just always had a good time when we came here. And some of us are kind of real into like sort of like the fishing, camping sort of side of things. And this kind of has all that right here. And yeah, we had a few really good friends here when we moved here too, good contacts and friends, and so it just kind of worked out.
So you say on your off time you go like fishing and hiking and that kind of stuff. Do you ski or board or anything? Or
I've tried skiing a few times. I'm pretty lame at it, but I mean, if you think I'm lame at skiing, you should see me surf now. I can't. My balance is kind of bad nowadays, and because I grew up at the beach. You know, in LA, I grew up at the beach, but I've surfed like a couple times recently, and I'm just fucking lame. I was always lame, but now I'm really lame.
Like just in Lords of Dogtown, I know Rise Against did the Black Flag cover, and it seems like Descendants and All and Black Flag, all three of them are just really well accepted into this kind of community. But it seems like other bands kind of nowadays just kind of drift in and out of things, whereas you guys have been kind of embraced for quite a while now. Do
Do you have any idea maybe why? Like, so many people are so loyal and just...
Oh, boy. Who could really hazard to speculate on all of that?
Is it because you guys skate yourselves?
I always liked it when I was younger, but I was never like really rad at it. I mean, I think I don't know. I just think that the energy levels seem to be sort of compatible. The energy level of the music seems to be sort of compatible with the energy level of the snowboarding or skateboarding and all that. But I really don't know. I mean, I always thought it was a somewhat unlikely but great match, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know you guys are producing Rise Against right now. Is that finished up? And
No, we're in the middle of it. We're like a third of the way through. We'll be done on March 25th.
How's it been working with them?
Well, it's great. I mean, Rise Against is pretty much like family to us. We've recorded them many times. When I keep saying we, like I'm talking about my partner Jason, who's in there working right now. You know, he and I have been making records together for like coming up on 10 years now, and so Rise Against, they're pretty much like family. I mean, we've done I don't know how many different recordings with them, and just developed quite a friendship, and they're comfortable here, you know, and we're comfortable with them. I took a real liking to them when they first got here to do Revolutions Per Minute.
Oh, they recorded Revolutions Per Minute here?
Yeah.
Such a sick album.
Yeah. And then we remixed the Unraveling here, you know, for re-release last year. And then we recorded the Black Flag songs. We actually recorded those out there and then did more work on them, you know, back here. But it was us doing it, even though we were up in Chicago.
Okay. Oh, out there as in Chicago?
Yeah, where they live. Yeah. Like, they just didn't want to travel to just do two songs, you know. And then we've done other demos for them. So, I mean, we've recorded them, you know, 5-6 times now on different levels. So they're one of the, like I said, they're family, and so we get along great, and the process is very comfortable. And even right now, I mean, they're just walking around like real happy, and even, you know, like their manager was like, "Wow, I haven't seen Brandon and Joe this happy in like 3 years," you know. That kind of thing, you know. They're just stoked, and we're stoked to have them.
How'd you go from being a drummer to a producer?
Well, I haven't really gone. I mean, I actually have a kind of a new band, Only Crime, which is with Russ from Good Riddance, and Zach and Donnie from Hagfish, and Aaron Dahlbeck from Bane and Converge.
Okay. Good Riddance are still together, though.
Yeah.
You guys are
and actually, right Jason and I just finished a Good Riddance record. Okay. So I've been doing a lot of drumming. Like, Only Crime did maybe 100 shows last year or something.
Wow.
So I'm still drumming, but I mean, I do have 2 kids, so it's not like I'm like out on tour all year. But I mean, I still get out there, and I've been playing with I haven't been playing as much with Carl and Stefan lately. Like, All in Descendants have been kind of dormant.
Yeah.
But then I've also been playing with Evan Dando, so I've been doing shows with him at the Lemonheads. Okay. And we're actually working on a new Lemonheads album.
Nice.
So I like to play. I mean, I think the fact that I've always been like active as a player, I think it's definitely helped me keep my sort of focus on the producing intact, because I'm really able to see it from both sides, and not just like all of a sudden turn into some guy, like you said, well, how can you transition from a drummer to, and it's like, no, I'm still a drummer. Like, if with Brandon, like with Rise Against, and we'd be working on it, and I'd be like, dude, you know, try it like this. What do you mean, dude? And I'm like, here, step aside. I'll show you what I mean. You know, so I'm still a punker. You know, I'm 42, but I'm a punker. You know, I play drums. I try to kick ass.
For sure. Well, yeah, that kind of leads into my next question. I know, just a couple people that have said you're one of their biggest inspirations, like Dave Grohl, Travis Barker. I mean, Travis Barker is, huge these days, and they all list you as one of their biggest inspirations. Like, your technique is just, it's not very common, like, compared to a lot of other drumming. How did you kind of develop that whole technique of playing with, it seems like you play kind of more with, like, the lyrics and, what's going on there rather than, like, the rhythm of the song? Like, was that something that you had to work on and you kind of wanted to set yourself apart for that, or just naturally has always been like that?
I don't know. I think there's been a thing in pop music over the last 25 years, no, 30 years, where drums kind of got relegated to this, like, okay, you play this pattern and you do it perfectly, and then when the chorus comes, you move to this next pattern and do that perfectly. And the drum machines in the 80s, and now with Pro Tools and all the quantizing and everything, I mean, that didn't exactly help the idea of creative, expressive drumming. And so I've more just tried to juxtapose myself against all that and try to approach the drums really from I guess it sounds kind of cliche, but I mean from an emotional standpoint of like, well, when I hear the song, how do I react to it? How does it make me feel? How do the lyrics make me feel? And how does that make me want to play, rather than just like, okay, I'm keeping the beat here. Right. I am keeping the beat. That's like sort of boring to me. Yeah. And that kind of music is pretty boring to me too. Like a lot of this kind of radio brand of punk rock that you hear. I mean, that's just really Poison, but with short hair. That's the way I hear it. It's very stiff. Yeah. Very stiff and very unexciting to me. Yeah. Not anywhere near exciting as some of my favorites: Charlie Parker, Jimi Hendrix, Black Flag. That to me is exciting music that's alive and fresh and moving. And radio pop is just boring to me. And that's really the difference in the drumming. Is it comes down to, am I a guy keeping a beat so that other people can play, or am I a guy playing with my heart and with my feelings? Yeah.
Who are you listening to right now? What's big on the iPod right now?
I've been kind of stuck on the classics, I guess you'd call it, for a while now. So the main thing has been Cole Porter, and then with like Irving Berlin or Rodgers and Hammerstein behind that. Like, I'm kind of stuck on this, like, who wrote like the best song in the whole world kind of thing. Like, who's that? And so like right now I think that I was really into that song Night and Day, or In the Still of the Night by Cole Porter, or just a lot of those kind of standards, I guess you'd call them, those great songs. So I've been kind of doing that, but I mean, that's a passing phase, I'm sure it is, although I've also bought the chord book, and I'm learning all the Cole Porter songs on the guitar. So I'm kind of stuck in that. But before that, I was listening to a ton of the like really advanced bebop. So like the Charlie Parker or Ornette Coleman or John Coltrane. And I was really into. I went for like through a 2-year period where like I pretty much only listened to Ornette Coleman. And I think I study stuff, but then I got this great tip from a guy from around here. His name's Devin Hoff. Okay. And he sent me this thing that sounds incredible. He plays stand-up bass. Okay. And do you know him? Do you know who that is?
I haven't heard of him.
He's from Fort Collins, but he lives in San Francisco now.
I'm from Cleveland. I've only been living out here for like a month.
Oh, whoa, nuts. Okay, so you don't know Devin. Well, anyway, I thought I'd mention that because it was specific to Colorado.
Nice, yeah, thanks.
But I don't know, what else is good? I mean, we did that band, A Wilhelm Scream, who are just insane. It's like watching the Descendents and Slayer play at the same time. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I read, I think it was on, maybe, I can't remember if it was Drum Ogre or somewhere I was reading online that you were pretty stoked on them. They were one of your
that worked out really well.
Nice. Who's your favorite band or musician, like, of all time? If you could pick just one. You mentioned Hendrix.
Oh man. Yeah. I guess it would be favorite band would probably be that Coltrane band. Was it Coltrane, Elvin Jones, McCoy Tyner, and the name's escaping me, who played bass.
Okay.
That was probably the greatest band of all time. And then the greatest musician of all time was probably in my opinion, maybe Duke Ellington.
Have you seen Elvin Jones play before live?
I haven't.
Really?
I haven't seen him play.
I got to see him once in Columbus, and it was just like, the amount of respect in the room was unreal, let alone like, just people listening to him. And
that band was just sick, man.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that was like, when you watch them, it was heavy the way Black Flag shows were. They were really, there was something in the air. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It seems like a lot of like the punk drummers these days are using Orange County, but I know you've been using Noble and Cooley. Has that been for a while, or is that something new? And how come you're so?
Man, that's like a childhood dream of mine. I mean, they were the drums when I was a kid. Like they were, to me, they were like the first, what you'd call, premier drum company, like really stepping it up to the top level.
Kind of like the first DWs, like how DW is today.
Yeah. And I had sponsorships before, with different companies, but when I was getting a little bit of attention there, when the Modern Drummer magazine gave me that big article, when that happened, then I thought, okay, well, I gotta call Noble and Cooley just as a joke. I mean, I know they're gonna turn me down, but I gotta call them anyway. And so they gave me a full endorsement.
Huh.
Which
right off the bat, right when you...
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, hello, my name's Bill, and I was trying to explain who I am, and they're like, dude, we know who you are, and I was like, oh, really? Because I figured it was older, like, jazz people that didn't, but man, their drums sound so good.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. I've never played them or heard them live, but... what's your practice routine consist of? Like, do you sit down and do book stuff for 2 hours a day?
Well, I'm spotty. I'm spotty now because, like, right now I'm in the middle of a record, Rise Against. So I mean, I'm not playing. Then when I do play, like when I'm on. I focus on it, and I really just play the songs. I mean, whatever the body material that's at hand, I play that body of material, over and over and over again, so that I can become intimate with the songs for a recording, and then hopefully when we record, I can interject some uniqueness that has been spawned from this intimacy that I have with the songs. Okay. So again, getting back to the like, oh, well, what are the chords? Oh, okay, I'll just play this beat. Well, no, I mean, no, that's like, my first punk band or whatever. That's, that's not good enough. Yeah. So it's like, to try to become more intimate with the material and try to bring something into it that, that may not be obvious, the first 4 times you play it. But, once you kind of get it under the belt, you might find a way of throwing it that's, a little bit different than how the other 99% would throw it.
Yeah, definitely.
But I do my stretching as far as like you're talking about the kind of the routine or the ritual, the discipline. I mean, I'm pretty undisciplined these days. I mean, to be honest, I'm not like gonna misrepresent myself. But I'm on and off, I'm like, I play when I have time to play, and then when I have a tour coming up and I focus on it really hard and I play. Mm-hmm. But I don't have I'm not big on the whole rudiments and all that shit. And I'm kind of a shitty reader, sight reader. I could fake my way through stuff if I have to. I can read if I have to, but I'm not rad at it. Probably the one thing I do is I do my like stretches that I do. I have this whole stretches that I do before and after, and what I feel like that does is it just keeps me limber. Mm-hmm. So I'm able to do the little eighth notes, the fast eighth notes that I do, and the little things that I do.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's what the people ask me is how do you play the the eighth notes, but with the power behind them.
Yeah.
And
like they're talking about like in the ride, like
the hat or the floor tom or even in the snare, or whatever it is. Like
it's something that's boggled me for a while.
And that's just, it's not like I'm really quick, but it's more like, because I'm not a quick drummer, but I'm able to maintain the level of power that I use at whatever speed I'm playing. You still get the same amount of power, and that's I think the stretching helps with that. Is just being able to be really limber and relaxed. Because it's weird when you cramp up, you start playing lighter because it just happens.
Are you more of like a wrist guy or a finger guy? Like when you're playing like those eighth notes, or is it not?
I look at it. It's like eighth notes with the finger, quarter notes with the wrist, halves with the arms.
For sure. Yeah.
That's how I see it. Because I'll be playing like this. Just Brandon was calling it what was he calling it? The diddle. he goes, because I'll play the ride like that, just diddling my finger. Yeah. But then the snare, I'm using my arm. It's kind of funny.
Nice. I read that you were coming out with an instructional DVD.
Yeah, but if I ever get around to it, it's not high on the list of priority because it's not going to really make me money or anything. I got 2 kids, so it's like I'll do it when I get to it kind of thing. I guess
Is that anywhere near completion or?
No, I mean, I just want to do it like a day. I want to practice for like a month. Mm-hmm. What I'm going to do, like as if it was a play. Yeah. I want to practice for a month and then just one day just film that, just doing that. Nice. And talking and then, okay, there it is, done. Nice. I don't want to have it be a big like production. Yeah. Just because anyone that's like going to be into that or that likes what I do, they don't need a big production. They just want to kind of observe and be maybe shown a few little things. Because I'm not that kind. I'm not like a drummer's drummer. Yeah. I'm more like I don't know what I am, but I'm not a drummer's drummer. Like some of these guys that fucking, it sounds like they got 9 arms and shit. I mean, I'm not. That's not me, you know.
Yeah. Have you heard of dudes like Thomas Lang, Virgil Donati, like?
Yeah, or like that Akira Jimbo guy. It's like
insane.
The only way you can get that is if you play drums. Yeah. You know?
Do you think, kind of speaking on those terms, do you think like punk rock drumming gets enough coverage or like, adequate amount of coverage in press like Modern Drummer and Drum Magazine? It seems like they always just kind of focus on those, like super power players, and there's so many good punk drummers out there that just, I feel like they're just not, covered enough, and they have so much credibility to bring to the table. Do you think that's kind of the same thing, or do you think?
I don't really know. I suppose in every genre there's 5,000 kids somewhere in a basement that could just destroy all the famous people. I mean, there's always going to be people that are overlooked. The media and the record labels. I mean, that's just a big machine. And you get in its way and it just bowls you over. So whatever their thing is, basically whoever's playing drums in the band that's got the good looking singer. Yeah. Okay. That's the great drummer of the day. Yeah. That's the drummer that's going to be called great, even though maybe he's not very great, but he happens to be drumming for the band with the good looking singer. So that makes him great, I guess.
For sure. Is there going to be, you think, another Descendents album down the road? I know Cool to Be You, it was, quite a while after Everything Sucks. Do you think there's going to be?
We have some more stuff. We have there'll be a couple more. It just might be a while. We just do it whenever we feel like it.
All right. Well, that's the interview with Bill Stevenson, drummer of the world famous All, Descendents, Black Flag. Thanks, Bill.
Okay, see ya.
Okay, guys, so that about wraps up the show for today, but I just want to say thank you very much for listening. I really do appreciate it. And if you like what you heard, please spread the word. You can find the show on social media at North Podcast. And if you want to hit me up, feel free to do so as well. I am just at Chip Kalback. And if you wouldn't mind taking just a minute to leave a review, subscribe to the show, tell a friend, that's always appreciated as well. So thanks again, and until next time.